The Saints grab another preseason victory. We'll have all the action from Saturday's comeback win over the Packers. We'll introduce you to the biggest Saints of all time, rookie John Kirksey. We'll show you what it's like to get the story at camp. And we'll see who's really number one when the Saints Sideline team goes head-to-head with fullback Lorenzo Neal in a Nintendo showdown. The Saints run their preseason record to 3-0. Saints Sideline slams into your home next.
This is Saints Sideline.
Hello, and thanks for joining us here on Saints Sideline. I'm Ed Daniels in New Orleans.
I'm Alexander Laurent in La Crosse for the final week of Saints Training Camp 1993. The next preseason game will be Monday night in the Superdome. The Saints will put their preseason unbeaten record on the line against the Chicago Bears. They remained unbeaten by defeating the Green Bay Packers on Saturday. For that story, we'll go back to Ed in New Orleans.
Thanks, Alex. For one quarter, the Saints played about as bad as they can play as a football team. Then they followed that up with 3 quarters of dominating play for a 26-17 win.
In preseason, the main objective for playoff contenders is to stay healthy. But the injury bug bit hard when Vaughn Dunbar went down in the first quarter with the knee.
Vaughn's got a knee injury. It could be serious.
A torn anterior cruciate ligament and cartilage damage will shelve Dunbar for the rest of 93, leaving a bigger load perhaps for 4th-round draft choice Derek Brown, who had early jitters.
I felt good about that because I felt that he had a little confidence in me that I would come back, or I think they might have been testing me to see if I could, and I did.
Brown settled down with 75 yards and 15 carries, including this 35-yard TD run. Brown's nickname, Little Dolphin. The quarterback race is down to 2. Mike Buck started and played poorly.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous finally getting a start after 3 years. And I think it showed a little bit in the beginning. But, after a while, after I took my first hit a couple of passes, things started feeling good.
Steve Walsh and Wade Wilson finished. The Saints ran off 26 straight points. Sure, it's just preseason. A part of 93, Vaughn Dunbar won't soon forget.
Hopes have been very high in Wisconsin this offseason, but after an 0-3 start in preseason, some Packer fans are becoming disillusioned. Here's what they're saying. Bob McGinn of the Milwaukee Journal writes, after 2 desultory performances and a mean week of workouts, the Green Bay Packers seemed hell-bent to defeat the New Orleans Saints. The Packers were motivated enough to assume a 17-point first-quarter lead, but then they returned to their mistake-prone form and offense and poorest ways on defense and succumbed weakly to the Saints. For the thousands across Wisconsin caught up in runaway enthusiasm about their team's chances, championships probably are the farthest thing from their minds 3 weeks before opening day. For more camp news, we go back to Alexander Laurent in Dairyland.
The Packers and the Saints are 2 of the 5 teams that train in what's called the Cheese League. Kansas City, Minnesota, and Chicago are the other 3.
A lot of water up here.
This week, Tommy Thompson, the governor of Wisconsin, showed up at practice to thank Tom Benson for bringing the Saints to his state. They're hoping to add the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the league's 6th team next year.
We haven't been able to make a deal yet, but we're working very hard on it, and I've talked to them. Sports authorities talked to them. Universities, of course, are wooing the teams that come in, and we're hoping to be able to get a couple more, because the more teams we get, the more practice that gives other teams that are here, like the New Orleans Saints.
You find yourself during the season pulling for the teams from this league?
Absolutely, unless they play the Packers.
Coming up, we'll meet a couple of rookies trying to make their mark. First, Big John Kirksey.
Then Doug Mouton will go one-on-one with Lorenzo Neal in a Nintendo shootout. Next on Saints Sideline.
John Kirksey is the biggest man to ever wear a Saints uniform. At 360 pounds, he he's just 15% body fat. And although he would have to be considered a long shot, the 8th round draft pick is turning some heads. So how big is your family, man?
No. Oh, put it this way, my dad got 31 kids.
Your dad has 31 kids.
Between my dad and my mom is 3 boys. But my dad got 31 kids, and we all had hazel eyes and look alike. It's wild, man. You see him, that's a Kirksey right there. That's a Kirksey over there. You can tell him.
Yeah,
big
like
bone.
Well, I mean, do you remember everybody's name?
Most of them. Most of them. A couple of the older ones you don't see that much. You know, I know who they are, but I like, man, is that the white, you know? Had to question myself.
When did football come into play for you?
Well,
When did you start playing football?
Football didn't come into play till I was a freshman, and I weighed about 315. My dad had told me, if you don't play varsity, you can't play at all. So I went out, played football. I didn't even know what a hash mark was, you know. And so I went out there and just, you know, learned as much as I could. Started my freshman year, played 4 years on the varsity team.
From there, it was on to Sacramento State, and now a chance to play for the Saints.
How important is it to you to make this team?
Well, it's important to me to make the team because there's a lot of people, you know, back home, you know, that's wishing me the good things for me, hoping things work out for me, and I just think I owe them a lot, you know, from being back home in a small town. It's just my way of getting something back to them.
Is your family proud of what you've accomplished?
Oh, yeah, they're very proud of me. They tell me that all the time. I talk to them, you know, at least a couple of them, you know, a couple times a week.
What's it going to mean to make this team, and how disappointing would it be if you didn't?
Well, you know, I'll be very happy if I make the team, but if I don't make the team, I still feel like I accomplished a lot, you know, because everybody, there's just a lot of people out there that wish they could be in my spot right now.
At this point in your life right now, are you happy?
Oh, yeah, I'm very happy at this point in my life, but the only thing that made me happy is getting a sack on Steve Young. Now, that would make me real happy. That would make me happy.
While Kirksey is still a long shot, 4th round pick Lorenzo Neal's chances are very good. He had a huge career at Fresno State. But as Doug Mouton shows us, number 23 is adjusting to his role very nicely.
1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to being a big fish in a small pond at Fresno State, and now you're going to be a big fish in a big pond with a lot of other even bigger fish. So I think when you keep that in perspective and just know that your role sometimes, so I'm just going to take it with the stride, and hopefully when I am called upon to get the job done, hopefully they'll see that I can carry the ball and block and do all the things that it takes to be in this level of football. In 1992, the Saints began the season with just one fullback. It's unlikely that'll happen again this year. Brad Muster is clearly the number 1, and Lorenzo Neal makes the perfect complement as the number 2. 8 inches shorter than Muster, he gives the Saints a very different look.
Lorenzo's he's a bowling ball in there, man. That sucker, he can knock some people down.
Neal has no delusions about the Saints' offensive system. He knows whatever playing time he does get, he'll spend it blocking. I'm not saying that I don't want the ball, because I would love to have the ball, carry the ball 15, 20 times a game. And if they ask that of me, I'd love to do that too. But right now I'm just going to, if they want me to block, that's what I'll do. I'll block, and I'll do it to the best of my ability.
What are some of the things you like to do away from football?
Horseback riding, fishing. And also, I'm not on the football field physically, but I still like to play a little Nintendo every now and then. All right, what team you want? I'll go ahead and take Houston today. All right, we'll make it even. I'll take Philadelphia. Two good teams. That'll work. That's it. I got to admit, you look better than I thought you were. Hey, what could I say? You live by the blitz, you die by the blitz, I guess. He might go all the way, folks. Ooh, what a run. What's this late hit in the end zone stuff? What kind of ball you playing? Wow, that was nice. What you call that? Man, you're better than I thought also. Man, I got to reevaluate this. I tell you what, we got one quarter, we got 7-7. We got an offensive showcase. I see. We got 2 90-yard drives. I see.
14-7. Mr. Neal, you're not having a good, and I got the ball right now.
Well, there's been some things that happened beyond my control. I thought the terrible officiating on the one play incomplete.
There is no officiating. Now, be honest with me. You thought because you're a professional athlete that was going to give you some kind of advantage because of reflexes or something?
Very big advantage. Evidently, it's turning out.
So you didn't remember that I don't have a life, which makes me good at these things. All right, ladies and gentlemen, midway through the third quarter, and Mouton leads Neal 21-7. What you thinking about that?
Well, actually, I'm going to have to renege on saying anything due to the fact that you have shut me up.
Keith Jackson.
Cut the camera off. Cut the camera off.
10 seconds. Ball game.
Oh!
You know those lightning quick reflexes and all that? Pro athlete, never been against a geek, buddy.
I'll be back.
Up next, the most aggressive team in pro football is also the one from the smallest TV market. The Pack is back. We'll tell you why. And covering camp, what's it like? We'll show you when Saints Sideline continues.
Saints Sideline. Saturday in Madison, the Saints were playing a team definitely on the rise. Green Bay has an outstanding young quarterback and a very aggressive front office.
A year before the salary cap arrives, the Packers roll out the dough on a host of free agents. Surely enough to score on the Bears.
Well, I got an uncle, and he's a big Bear fan. I'm from Illinois. And they're all worried. They think the Packers are going to take the division.
Expectation in Green Bay is like Reggie White's contract. Astronomical.
They're not known for going out and getting the big players like they have. And I think a lot of people are surprised and just excited, I think. I mean, sky's the limit with what we got.
But is it? The Packers still have holdouts and holes in the offensive line. Enough to ask Judy Robbins if he'd like to return. 59,000 plus turned out Saturday to watch their team fall to 0-3.
I'd rather see it be more for fun than money. But that's the way they're running their business.
He's obviously not paying attention. In Green Bay and the rest of the NFL, it's about greenbacks. Will it bring the Pack back? Around here, back means all the way to championships.
Buford Jordan will be up a little later to tell us what he thinks of Southern Mississippi's Brett Favre. But now we go back to Alex at training camp.
Of course, Ed, this is the last week of camp here in La Crosse, and the players aren't the only ones hard at work. As photographer Bill Evans shows us, for the media, covering camp is definitely no vacation.
It can be very intense, the deadline pressure, having to get interviews at certain times when the players are available.
How'd you feel out there in your first day, man?
You have to do things when the team does it.
You know, I go out and perform.
This is my first time in La Crosse. I was at the Saints camp when it was in Vero Beach in Florida. Very different kind of camp. They trained at Dodgertown in those days, very luxurious motel room type accommodations. Beautiful sand beach just a few miles away.
You saying they don't have that here?
I noticed that the dorm we're in has a sign on it. It was constructed in 1964, so that tells you something about it. And dorms haven't changed over the years, I found out.
When you come up here and they put you on a dorm on the same floor with a bunch of other guys for an extended period of time, things get kind of old, particularly the communal shower.
What's your impression of the place?
It's pretty cool. The weather's nice. Food in the cafeteria sucks.
Absolutely horrible. Oh, my God. You know, the corner grocery store serves better food in New Orleans than they have here.
Buddy, I see that the room that you're broadcasting in is a little different.
Well, actually, it's where I sleep, too. You know, they say, buddy, you sometimes don't say all nice things about the Saints, so consequently, there's where you sleep. It's not bad. I got a lot of blankets. If it ever turn cold, and boy, I stay clean. Look at the towels I got, you know.
Saints sideline analyst Buford Jordan is up next. We'll talk about Jim Dombrowski's contract, the quarterback race, and Renaldo Turnbull's huge game against the Packers. Stick around.
Did the Saints make the right move trading Pat Swilling? Saturday in Madison, Wisconsin, Renaldo Turnbull may have started the process of changing some minds to yes with an outstanding performance.
I'm happy because I think I definitely saw improvement from the previous week. I felt a lot better. I saw things quicker. I reacted to things that we worked in practice this week better. And anytime I can see that, I'm very happy with that.
Renaldo looked like he picked things up a little bit. Got a couple sacks today. Got the safety.
When we look at the film and Vic said, hey, you played this better than you did last week, that makes me feel a hell of a lot better as opposed to saying, hey, you got 2 sacks, because I might have gotten 2 sacks and blown 6 coverages, but no one's really going to know that.
Who helped themselves in Madison and who didn't? For some answers, we go on the bench with Buford Jordan. First of all, Buford, last week we said it may take Renaldo Turnbull half a season to get comfortable in the system. Well, it was like he almost hurt us because Saturday he was terrific.
Yeah, he did have a good game, and you know, what I was looking at is his thing came from a 3-point stance more than, you know, the linebacker position.
Now, looking at the Packer offensive line, Campbell's hurt. They've got 2 veterans who are holdouts. Was that a factor at all? Does that diminish what he did?
No, I don't think it diminished it. You know, I think that's going to help his confidence and make him have a better, you know, season. So I think that just builds his confidence up a lot.
Vaughn Dunbar out for the season. How much will the Saints miss him?
I think they're going to miss him a lot, you know, especially with Fred being down. They were looking for Dunbar to come back and be the starter again, and it's going to hurt him.
It looks like Derek Brown is a guy, Dalton Hilliard maybe is not an every down back anymore. They're going to have some mileage out of Derek Brown, right?
They will, but I wouldn't say Dalton isn't an every down back anymore because Dalton hasn't really played much in the last couple of years. So I think this would be a nice opportunity to give it back to Dalton. I think he's going to be ready for this year.
So you still think he can carry the load?
Oh, I'll take a Dalton Hilliard any day. I don't care how long he's been in the league.
And a lot of people say, well, Brown's playing a lot in preseason, Hilliard's not. The Saints know what Hilliard can do, so they're going to rest his legs, right?
Exactly. That's what they're doing. And especially now, you know, with the backs going down, they don't need, you know, another veteran guy being hurt, so they're going to give Gill and Derek a lot of reps.
Looking at the quarterback situation, I would have to say that Mike Buck is number 3 guy right now, and is it Wilson and Walsh? Come on now.
It is, you know, kind of. I think Mike hurt himself a lot this past week, and Steve really helped himself. He's done a lot of, like, Joe Montana passes, you know, dumping off the little short routes to the backs and, you know, the tight end. And so he's really been playing with a lot of confidence, and he's making it a real challenge.
Can the Saints win in the regular season with Steve Walsh?
You know, they've tried it before, and everybody say, well, he didn't have a full season. But if he keeps going the way he's going, it could be that he could have, you know, win some games this season.
All right, thanks, Buf. We'll see you again next week. We'll be back with more Saints Sideline right after this. Up next, we'll look ahead to Monday night's date with the Chicago Bears. Stay with us for more of Saints Sideline.
DMI New Orleans, the official travel company of the New Orleans Saints. Call the company the Pros Call, 592-0500.
Next for the Saints is a Monday night national TV game against the Chicago Bears. Chicago and Craig Hayward will come to the Dome looking for some payback. The Bears got drilled last September in the Superdome. Ricky Jackson knocked the ball loose. Pete Goff took it in. The Saints scored 21 in the 4th quarter to win it 28-6.
Thanks, Ed. That Bears game kicks off at 7 o'clock. For Ed Daniels in New Orleans, I'm Alexander Laurent. We'll see you next week on Saints Sideline.
Saints